Hello, this is Math 6, Lesson 6-4, Estimate to find percent. In this lesson, we'll be able to estimate the percent of a number using equivalent fractions, rounding, or compatible numbers. Let's start from explore it. Sarah wants to score 78% on her next test. She knows that the test will have 40 questions. Okay? So think about your test. Part A, how can Sarah represent the situation to help her determine how many questions she needs to answer correctly? You probably have had the same question whenever you were trying to answer questions on the test. Like if I get one wrong, how many percent is that? If I get two things wrong, how many percent is that, right? So she wants to know how many number of questions she needs to get in order to get more, in order to get 78% or higher. Okay, so she knows that she has 40 questions, and 40 questions would be the 100%, right? That's 100%. If she gets all the questions right, that's 100%. She gets 0 questions right, that's 0%. Okay? So what is one question worth? How much percent is one question if 40 questions are 100%? If 40 is 100%, 40 times 2.5 is 100, right? So what's one question worth? 1 times 2.5 is 2.5. So one question is 2.5% worth, right? Okay, so if she gets one wrong, that means she needs to subtract 2.5% off from 100%. So if she gets 39 questions right, she will get 97.5% and so on, right? But she wants to know how much would be 78%. Okay. So 78% would be, that's 40. And 40 out of what, how many, we don't know. So that's a question mark. But we know that 40 is going to be 100%. And how many questions would be 78? Okay. So again, you know that 40 times 2.5 is 100 because 100 divided by 40 is 2.5. So you multiply 40 times 2.5 to get 100, right? So 40 times 2.5 is 100. And because 100 divided by 2.5 is 40, okay? So something times 2.5 is 78, but that also means 78 divided by 2.5 is your answer. So 78 divided by 2.5, you can use long division. And you can divide 780 by 25. And so you have 3 25s to get 75. 8 minus 5 is 3. You have 125 and 30. And you have 225 and 50. And there's no remainder. So it's exactly 31.2%. Oh, no, 31.2 questions. Okay, so these are percentages and these are questions. Okay, so use equivalent ratios to solve this problem. So part B, how would you use the model to help solve the problem? So basically, you know she has to get more than 31 31.2, right? But is there such thing as 31.2 points? No, she needs to count her points, her number of questions by whole number. So she needs to get 32 to achieve that, that goal, right? So she's gonna answer, okay, let's color all the questions that she will get correct to get her goal, 32. Okay, so shade all these questions. So she's going to get 32 out of 40 questions correct. Part B, how could you use the model to help solve the problem? So this part is showing the work. So basically write what you did neatly in part B. So what did we do? What did we do? 78% is her goal, right? So 78% of 70% in fraction would be 78 out of 100. Okay, so and you can use equivalent fraction. 78 out of 100 is equal to how many questions in 40 out of 40 questions. So then in order to figure out this question mark, let's say that's X. Okay, that's gonna be our X. And so X is going to be, you multiply 40 on both sides, you get X is equal to 40 times 78 over 100. And then X is 2 times 78 over 5, which is 156 over 5, which is 31.2. So that's going to be 32 questions. Okay, because if you have 31 questions, that's going to be less percentage than 78. Okay. All right, focus on math practices. On her last test, Sarah answered 82% of 60 questions correctly. About how many questions did Sarah answer correctly? Use estimation. So 82% out of 60 questions is what? How can you write equivalent fractions for that? Okay, 82% in fraction is 82 out of 100, right? And you know 60 questions would give 100%, so that's the whole, it's in the denominator. And you're looking for the numerator, right? So then you want to find the factor that makes 160. You're going to divide the same number. Okay, so how do you find this? 60 divided by 100. So 100 divided by 60 is going to be the factor that you divide by. Okay, so 100 divided by 60 is 10 over 6. And simplify it again, divide by 2, you get 5 over 3. Okay, so you multiply 60 times 5 over 3 to get 100. That means in order for 100 to become 60, you divide by 5 over 3. Or multiply by 3 over 5, the reciprocal. Okay, and so you're gonna do the same thing. Multiply by 3 over 5 with 82, and that's your answer. So 82 times 3 over 5 is 240 246 over 5. Okay, 246 divided by 5 is 49.2. So it's gonna be, so 82% of 60 questions would be about how many questions? That could be about, you can round this down, about 49 questions. Okay. Okay, let's get started with the next page. In this lesson, we'll think about how we can estimate to find the percent of a number. Let's look at example 1. Use equivalent fractions to estimate. This graph shows the eye colors among 500 students at a school, about how many students have brown eyes, about how many have blue eyes. So we got a pie chart. The full circle represents 100%. And we want to specifically look at the brown eyes and the blue eyes, right? Brown and blue are here. This is blue. Brown is this one. So brown has 46%. Blue has 23%. So how can you write that as a fraction as well? 46%, you can estimate it as 50%, and about half of the 500 students is 250. So you can say, you can estimate about 250 have brown eyes. Okay, estimate 23%. You can estimate 23 to 25%. 25 is 1/4 in fraction. So you can divide 500 by 4 to get 125. Okay, and so you have about 125 students that have blue eyes. So you can estimate in example 1. Try number 1. Suppose the graph shows eye colors among 120 students in 6th grade. About how many 6th grade students would have green eyes? Explain how you can use estimation to find the answer. Okay, see if you can do this by yourself. Come back when you're ready for answers. So this graph, suppose this graph shows eye colors among 120 students instead of 500 students. Okay, so 120 students now. So 120 students is the 100%. Okay, but how many 6th grade students would have green eyes? Green is 16%. So what percent of students have green eyes? 16%. But how many? You need to figure it out, right? So 120 students would be 100%. And so we don't know how many students the green eyes have green eyes, but we know that's 16%. So in order to get 100 to 16, we can also estimate for this triad. So why don't you estimate this into 20%? Okay, so 16% is about 20%. So 20% is 1/5 in fraction. So 120, or you can say 1/5 of 120, which is the whole students, is 24, because 120 divided by 5 is 24. So 24 students. So about, actually, let me type that as an answer. So about 24 students in the 6th grade have green eyes. is our final answer. Okay. That's such a bad rectangle. Let me try that again. There you go. That's so much better. All right, convince me. How does understanding fraction equivalence help you estimate how many students in 6th grade have green eyes? Why do you need the information fraction equivalent to the percentage that you have here? Why do we estimate, well, after we estimated 16 to 20%, why do we convert the percentage into the fraction? So that you can multiply that fraction to 120 to get exactly how many students you have, right? So you can write 20% as an equivalent fraction so that you can multiply by 120 to figure out how many students would have green eyes. Okay, so that's why fraction is important. Converting percentage to fraction is helpful when you're trying to figure out the exact number. All right, next page example 2. Use rounding incompatible numbers to estimate. Use the results of the survey shown to the right about how many high school students plan to get a summer job. So we got a bulletin board about summer jobs. We got so many things on the board. But we know that 53% of 94 students surveyed plan to get a summer job. So they surveyed 94 students total, but 53% of them are planning to get a summer job. So they said about, that means you can estimate, okay? So one way you can round 53% of 94. So you can round 94 to 90 and 50 to 50. And so 1/2 of 90 is about 45. You can say about 45 students plan to get a summer job. Another way, you could also figure out numbers that are compatible. You can say 100 is compatible number for 94. And 53% is about 50% and 50% is half. Okay, so you can round up and estimate 1/2 of 100 and get 50. So you can say about 50 students plan to get a summer job. Okay, so both 45 and 50 are good estimates. They're close. Okay, it's going to be around 45 or 50 who plans to get a summer job. So it's, yeah. So when you round down, you get 45. When you round up 94, you get 50. Okay. Since the questions asks you about how many, that means you can estimate, and it could be either way. You're not too far away from the answer if you say 45 or 50. Let's look at try question number 2. Students in another survey were asked whether they plan to attend summer camp. Out of the 56 students in the survey, 44% said yes. Use rounding incompatible numbers to estimate how many students plan to attend summer camp. So first, you're going to round to estimate 44% of 56. You can round 44 to 40. And 40% is what in fraction? 4 out of, well, it's 40 out of 100. But what's it in 4 out of? 4 out of 10. You divide both terms by 10 to get 4 out of 10. Or you divide this again by 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 2 over 5. Okay, equivalent fractions. 56, you can round up to 60. And so 2/5 times 60 is 2 times 60 divided by 5, which is 24. So about 24 students plan to attend summer camp. This is one way. What's another way? You can use compatible numbers. So you can estimate 44% to 40 again. And 40%, it's the same process here. It's 4/10 or 2/5. But you can say 56 is a compatible number for, wait, no. You're going to round down now. 50 is a compatible number for 56. Compatible number just means an easier number. Yeah, like 50, 100, it's just easier number to compute. Okay, and it's close enough to 56. So 2/5 times 50 is 50 times 200 divided by 5, which is 20. So about 20 students plan to attend summer camp. So either 24 or 20 would be a good estimation of this question. Okay? So estimating is all about this lesson. So let's look at key concept to summarize. Fraction equivalence, rounding, or compatible numbers can be used to estimate the percent of a number. So you need to know how to convert percent to fraction from last lesson so that you can estimate and figure out your estimation using compatible numbers and rounding up or down. Okay, that was lesson 6-4, estimate to find percent. We have 2 more lessons to go. 6-5, the next lesson is about finding percent of a number exactly. We're not going to estimate it. Next lesson, we're going to find it exactly. And then the last lesson is finding the whole given part of the percent. I'll see you in the next lesson, the next video. Unless you have questions, ask Ms. Kang in class. All right, bye guys.